Hey, let's do some patterns in the key of C. Check this out. You could turn this into some epic soloing if you're not careful, but I'm going to play it kind of careful and delicately. This is C major with a descending kind of a bass line or a melody line. Check it out. Alright, hey, if you want to subscribe to my channel, that would really help me out. So, this is C major. These are like triads, 3-note chords. That's a triad as far as I know. You don't have to know the name of every chord you're doing, but it does kind of help. I like it. But so this is like a C major. So that's a really common shape here. It's a root 3rd 5th. The frets are 10, 9, 8. I'm on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. This is a C, E, G. So if we added some gain and some speed and some, attitude, that could really rip. But we're going to keep it kind of mellow here. So, which is a good way to study, I think, kind of calm. So then we're going to flat, this is the root, we're going to flat it 1 fret down, so it's going to descend from a C to a B. Let's do the first 2 chords. And you can kind of hear the next chord coming, so we're going to flat it 1 more time. We'll have to redo our fingering, so that's going to be like an 8, 9, 8 for the 3rd chord. Alright, the names of the chords are C major 7, C7. Let's do that again. So yeah, I had to pick up all my fingers. So you flat it 1 more time. That gets you it's like a 6th interval. I guess that'd be like a C6. Because we got a 6, 3, and a 5, no root. So the root just descends. So let's check the fingering on that. If it went down 1 more, that'd be an F minor. Or it would kind of start working towards the F minor. I kind of forgot what I did. Let's check it out. Oh, let's do this. We'll go major, F major up there. So I could have kept going down that chromatic line, but eventually the chord would, outrun my fingers. So that's why, you can flip it. There's so many options. That's probably why I got sidetracked, but no biggie. Here's F major. I think that's what I want to do. Now, which would be the 4 chord of C. C to F is a 4. Kind of your old ho-hum chord change, it's kind of, kind of like bread and water. Just your basic thing that you got to know. All right, so after that, C7, we'll go to F, which is like at the 10th fret, looks like a C, F, A. That equals an F major triad. And from there, my ear said, ooh, that's got to go minor. Which is kind of like, whoa. It kind of is like bold choice, you know. It kind of speaks, is what I'm trying to say, in my own funny way. And has kind of an emotional punch, you know. So the F minor is a 10-10-9, or C, F, A flat, like an F minor. C to F. Let's just see what that sounds like. That does have a certain quality that we recognize in music. So yeah, you can go from the major to the minor on the 4, and then that F minor is going to kind of pull us back to the C. I was toying with having that C be a C6. Let's try that. Major, minor, 6. Kind of cool, but I think I'm going to keep it major, just a simple C major. So we got F major, F minor, C major, and then we can go to the 2 chord and make it a D7, which is like C, F sharp, A. Frets are 10, 11, 10. Then we got a G, maybe a G7. Then we can do like a G augmented, which pulls us back to C. Let's do the whole thing one more time. So to describe those chords, I'm kind of waffling between G major and G7. G7's kind of cool. It's that'd be a D, F, B, or 12, 10, 12. And then we got our we'll make it augmented. So I think I'll just kind of redo it here. So augmented chords sound kind of shocking because you've tampered with the 5th interval. The 5th is usually like really stable. I picture that as a giant marble column that cannot be moved. And you move that column, you're like, whoa, you've really wrecked it. So, so when you raise or lower the 5th, you're kind of causing trouble, or a kind of a turbulence or a disturbance. You're like, you gotta be kidding, that doesn't sound right. But when let's call it a passing chord. So it's on its way to major. C major, resolution. So yeah, that dissonance is usually going somewhere. Not always, but and that's a really good C major there. That's like a C or E, G, C. So it's a 3rd in the bass. E, G, C. That's 14, 12, 13 for frets. It's kind of ironic. I make fun of tinkly music, yet I am one of the biggest tinklers out there. So, you know, if I play it, I think it's cool. But if it's too whiny and poppy and kind of sappy, I guess I'm like, come on, man, give me a power chord or something. But this does contrast if you're doing a show and you've got, some fast-paced music, tempo's way up there, you just ripping and rocking. Then you bring it down for a song, and people are like, oh, and then you, pow, take it back up. So if everything's really fast all the time, it gets kind of monotonous. So, using sort of more delicate playing to contrast all your big, tough sounding rock and roll or whatever you do, all your thrashing. Dynamics, man. That's all I'm saying. Contrast your big fast stuff with something a little lighter, and then it makes your heavier stuff sound heavier, and it makes your lighter stuff sound lighter. If all you do is boring ballads, I mean, just put me to sleep right now. I'm done. But if it's all just one tempo headbanging, that gets monotonous too. So yeah, contrasting with these different tempos or feels, or as I was saying, if you stepped on a distortion pedal, maybe had a backing track, you could kind of work these into some epic leads, which I haven't figured out yet, but maybe so that might be a pre-study of something more kind of shreddy. If of course, adding the gain and the delay and the compression and the bombastic tone with it could sound kind of not so wimpy. But I'm keeping it wimpy for now. That's totally cool. Maybe we'll come back and do that if anybody wants to know what it would sound like with distortion. Or what I did was I took those triads, and that was improvised, by the way. I'm glad I didn't hit a really bad note, but knowing your chord formulas, root third fifth, major seventh third fifth, flatted seventh third fifth, just breaking down those chord formulas really helps you understand what you're playing. Otherwise, if you're just, let's say you didn't know any of that and you're just like, well, okay, I'll just go. Yeah, that's cool, but it's not what I did. It's not as, it doesn't follow the chord changes, If you're like, well, I just play by feel. Well, I just play by smell. But, if you take the time to learn and study those chord formulas, arpeggios, that's when guitar gets really, you start feeling like you can control what's happening versus just sort of falling up and down a scale. That's how I think of it anyway. So however you think of it, let me know. And I'm pretty excited. I'm playing with Surf Zombies in Burlington, Iowa today at like a Harley dealership. It's going to be some sort of a large event, so that's cool. And then we kind of forgot to book gigs, so we're kind of, we got nothing cooking for a while, but we're working on that. So we're going to try to record the gig with a couple of really good condenser mics and a tube preamp, and we'll see if we can get a good stereo recording. All right, thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe. I really like to see those numbers. Sometimes I get one new subscriber a week, so that's how this channel really has become the powerhouse that we all know it is. No, it's pretty slow, but that's okay, man, because then we can manage it better. All right, I'm jabbering, but see you later. Thanks a lot.